If you like this look, watch the tutorial. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Jumping right in, I'm using the Morad moisturizer just to prime and moisturize my face. Then I went in with a spoolie just to brush my brows upwards. Then I'm going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 4.5 just to outline the bottom of my brow, then outline the top of my brow, filling the areas of my brow that needs to be filling, making sure that towards my inner brow is lighter than the tail. Using the spoolie just to brush the hair again in place. Now I'm going to go in with my L'Oreal concealer. This is the best drugstore concealer. I don't even think we should call it drugstore. It's just because of the price. It's affordable. But this concealer is good. I'm just using this on a flat brush just to conceal the bottom of my brow and also the top of my brow. Gonna do the same thing for the other brow, using the pencil to outline the bottom and also the top, and filling the areas of my brow that needs to be filling, using a Wet n Wild brush to basically blend out the concealer. Now going in with the Born This Way matte Too Faced foundation. It's claimed to be oil-free, oil controlling, waterproof, transfer resistance, 24-hour foundation. Just shaking up it to make sure that it's ready to be used. Making dots all over my face. I'm gonna go in with my MAC 170 brush. This is a great brush when you're looking to achieve a fuller coverage. I tend to go for brushes when I'm putting on my foundation because I have blemishes and acne scarring that I want to be covered. So I love a full coverage foundation. I'm a full coverage girl. Just making sure that I cover all the areas of my face. Going in with some more, just dotting it all over where I think needs a little bit more coverage, and going in with my brush to blend it out. Notice I'm going with a tapping motion. I'm not dragging, because when you drag you won't get that full coverage. When you tap in parts by parts, you get a fuller coverage. Tap, 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 tap. See? But if you're a girl with clear skin, super clear skin, make sure to bring down the foundation to your neck also. As I was saying, if you're a girl with clear skin, you don't need a full coverage unless that's your preference. So you could drag your foundation and you could use a beauty blender for your foundation application because you want like a sheer lighter coverage, you know, because you don't have much to really conceal or to cover. But for girls like myself who has, you know, hyperpigmentation, we need that full coverage because we're trying to look flawless. Yes, I think this foundation is a pretty good match. I am in the shade Butter Pecan. It's a little bit deeper, but I think that's fine. It's best to always go deeper with your foundation. You're safer that way because you always use the concealer to balance it out, you know, instead of lighter. Even though if you have a lighter foundation, you can also let that work with your contouring and bronzing. You know, it's just using what you have and making it work. Now I'm gonna go in with my MAC paint pot over my lids. It's just an eyeshadow primer. Going in with the Too Faced concealer. This is the original concealer, just to highlight under my eye and my nose. And I went ahead and just highlighted these areas. Didn't highlight my chin and my forehead as yet because I wanted this concealer to kind of set, because when you put your concealer on and let it set, it gives you a fuller coverage. Going in with my Jackie Aina palette, I'm just using the shade Ginger and the other neutral shade that's in the palette. I forgot the name of that shade. I'm just going for like a neutral easy eyeshadow look. Then I'm going in with my ColourPop palette. That's called whatever. Just using that shade maybe later to blend out the crease. Trying to make sure that the eyeshadow is blend and diffuse and there is no harsh line in the transition shade area. Now I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier powder on an elf sponge, and I'm basically setting the concealer under my brows. This concealer can go without being setting because it's very full coverage and it's matte, but you know, I still went ahead and set it. Now I'm going to use the Real Technique sponge to blend out the concealer underneath my eyes. When I'm blending, I try not to spread the concealer too far out. I want to keep it underneath my eyes and not to blend it too far out towards my hairline, because that's not the look that I'm going for, because you don't want your face to look bigger than it already is. For round face people I'm talking. And just going back in with my foundation brush, not with no extra product. I just basically blend the end of the concealer and where the foundation meet. I added back some concealer on the forehead and the chin, just a little, because as you can see this concealer is a bit light, so you don't need too much. And I'm just blending it out with the Real Technique sponge, blending my nose and everywhere that needs to be blended. I also dusting off the powder. Now I'm going to set my concealer with the Laura Mercier translucent powder on a different sponge, the sponge that I use for the powder, because I use one for the liquid and one for powder. Just setting my under eye and my nose, forehead and chin, using the Morphe brush, this contour brush. It's 572. It's good for nose contouring, just to clean up the powder at the side of my nose, to have that straight strip of powder on the nose. Gonna use the Estee Lauder foundation powder in the shade 5W1 bronze to set my entire face. Also, I went over my under eye because it's white, and I was just showing you the difference when I went over it, just show you how it kind of cool it down a little. This is the Too Faced bronzer. I am so disappointed. This is the darkest shade and this cannot be used at all. It's dark chocolate and it's so light. So Saved by the Bell, my Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Caramel Cutie. I was using a dense contour brush, but then I had to switch it out with a Real Technique foundation brush that is more fluffy, that is a bit dense but not too dense. Just contouring the side of my cheeks, my upper cheeks, just blending and contouring. I don't want it to be too dark. I just want it to have like a subtle look. I want it to be present but not too present. Running that brush around my forehead. I have a very flat forehead, so I don't really need like too much of a contour, but you still need to contour it. Sometimes you can get away without contouring the forehead. Now I'm going to do a reverse contour underneath my cheeks with the translucent powder. I just use the end of the sponge and basically lining a straight line, sucking my jaws in to help me with where exactly I want to put the sponge. Just dusting off. See, look at that. This is the Fenty eyeliner. Oh my goodness, this Fenty eyeliner is one of the best. I tell you, when you put this in your waterline, it stays put. No jokes. Not because it's Fenty, but this thing actually works. I always have issues sometimes with pencils and waterline, but this works. Now I'm going to use my lashes. This is the Eye Envy. You guys know that I like the Eye Envy. If you watch my previous tutorial, it's in the shade Chic, using the Duo Glow. This is the green Duo Glow. Jesus Christ. Yes, you just have to allow the lash to get tacky. That was my child. I'm going in with the shade Credit under my lower lash line just to blend it. Now I'm going to apply my lashes with a tweezer and my finger. When you're a mommy, you know how it goes. That lash wanted to give me struggle, but voila, I got it on. Now I'm gonna go and apply my bottom lashes. I was asked to show how I apply my bottom lashes. Basically, I use the individual lashes in the same brand, Eye Envy. You can use any brand individual lash. This is in the length short. I just use a tweezer to hold it, apply the Duo Glow, allow it to get tacky, and I place it right underneath the bottom lash. Right underneath the bottom lash. Do not place it on the waterline because it will irritate the skin. That's not how it is placed. I'm just making sure that the tweezer is clean, because when you got glue on the tweezer, trust me, it will yank the lash right off when you're applying it, because the glue is like sticking to the tweezer and the lash itself. Once that lash is tacky and you place it right underneath your natural bottom lash, it will stick. It seems hard, but it's not hard. Once you get the hang of it, you're gonna see that it's not so hard. I'm not gonna say easy, but it's not so hard. You know, anybody can do it. Anybody can do anything. Practice becomes perfect. See? Now I'm going to use my Too Faced blush. I got this little blush in a Christmas set. I think it's called Berry Christmas. It's more of a satin finish. I prefer matte. You know, the only thing that I want glowy and shiny on my face is my highlighter. So I'm just basically going to go in with my e.l.f. blush. This blush is bomb. It's called Primer Infused Blush, Always Rosy. That's the shade. It's matte and it's pigmented. I'm just using my foundation powder brush to dust off the powder underneath my contour, to dust and to blend. You can see how snatched it makes my cheek look. Now on a fan brush, I'm using my MAC Cheeky Bronze highlighter just to highlight my cheek. I'm just adding it right on top of the contour and the blush on both sides, right on top, you know. So then you turn your face, you get that. Whoo! Now I'm basically dusting off the baked powder on my nose, using my Fenty Beauty bronzer to lightly contour my nose. I don't want a harsh contour. I'm not going for like a harsh look. I'm using the same Morphe 572 brush, this contour brush. Trust me, it's perfect for contouring nose. Just making sure that oh, that's the happy dance. Now I'm just highlighting the tip of my nose and along my nose bridge. Ah, that's my baby. I had to do the rockabye baby. Morphe Miss. It's everything. This is not matte. It's what, Illuminous, I think, but it works perfect to melt the powder. I'm basically going to highlight my inner tear dot with this shade Zam from the Jackie Aina palette. When you highlight your inner tear dot, you just see how it makes when you have a simple eyeshadow look, just look at how it makes it like pop. Woo! Like it's just popping out. Going in with the MAC Chestnut Pencil Lip Liner to line my lips, and I was gonna use Hit and the Too Faced lip gloss, but I had to add this MAC Bullet lipstick. This lipstick is called kind of sexy. It's a nude mauvish pink. It's so pretty. Then I'm gonna line it again with the chestnut because I want a little bit of the brown to show more than how it was showing. Going in with the Too Faced lip. No, I really like the overall look. The Too Faced matte, it's good. It's approved by me. Who is me? Me. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate you all, and see you next time.